fingers tap against the map, pulling me from my thoughts. Lost? He asks, a friendly grin spreading across his face. I shake my head, forcing a smile in return, though my heart feels heavy. Just taking it all in, I reply, trying to sound casual. The truth is, I feel like an outsider in this sea of families, each one celebrating their child's new beginning while I stand alone, a stark reminder of my past. As the orientation progresses, I find myself drifting through the crowd, absorbing snippets of conversations. Parents boast about their children's achievements, while students share their hopes and dreams. I can't help but feel a pang of envy. I want to be part of that world, but the shadows of my past loom large, reminding me of the family that turned their backs on me. After the orientation, I head to the library, seeking solace among the stacks of books. The smell of old paper and ink is comforting, a stark contrast to the chaos of my emotions. I pull out a notebook and begin to write, pouring my heart onto the pages. I write about the betrayal, the pain, and the determination that fuels me. Each word is a step toward reclaiming my narrative, a way to assert my existence in a world that once tried to erase me. Days turn into weeks, and I settle into a routine. Classes fill my days, and shifts at the diner and community center occupy my evenings. I juggle textbooks and work schedules, my life a delicate balance of responsibilities. I often find myself reflecting on my journey, the challenges I've faced, and the strength I've discovered within myself. I remind myself that I am not defined by my past but by how I choose to rise above it. One evening, as I sit in my tiny room, I receive a text from an unknown number. My heart races as I read the message. It's Mom. Can we talk? The words hit me like a punch to the gut. After 12 years of silence, my mother wants to reconnect. I stare at the screen, my mind racing with conflicting emotions. Part of me wants to scream, to tell her that she lost the right to be in my life when she chose to believe my sister's lies. But another part of me wonders if there's a chance for healing, for understanding. I take a deep breath, my fingers hovering over the keyboard as I contemplate my response. What do you want? I type, my heart pounding. I hit send, and the wait for her reply feels like an eternity. When it finally comes, it's a simple message: I want to apologize. I see how successful you are now, and I regret how things ended. Her words are a double-edged sword, cutting through the years of hurt while also igniting a flicker of hope. I want to believe her, but the scars of betrayal run deep. I type back, it's been a long time. Why now? The conversation unfolds slowly, each message a cautious step toward reconciliation. She shares snippets of her life, her regrets, and her desire to reconnect. I listen, but I remain guarded, unwilling to let my walls down completely. I remind myself that forgiveness is a process, not a destination. As the days pass, I find myself reflecting on my journey. I've built a life for myself, one that I can be proud of. I've fought tooth and nail to get here, and I refuse to let my past dictate my future. But the question lingers: how far am I willing to go to confront the people who abandoned me? I decide to meet my mother, but on my terms. I choose a coffee shop in the heart of the city, a neutral ground where I can maintain my distance while still allowing for a conversation. As I sit at a small table, I feel a mix of anticipation and anxiety. The sunlight streams through the windows, illuminating the space, but it does little to ease the tension in my chest. When she arrives, I barely recognize her. Time has changed her, just as it has changed me. She looks older, wearier, and the weight of regret hangs heavy in the air. We exchange awkward pleasantries before settling into a conversation that feels both familiar and foreign. I've watched you from afar, she admits, her voice trembling slightly. I'm proud of what you've accomplished. I nod, unsure of how to respond. It hasn't been easy, I finally say, my voice steady. You and Dad made it clear that I wasn't welcome in your lives. Her eyes well with tears, and for a moment, I see the mother I once knew. I was wrong, she whispers. I should have believed you. I let my fear cloud my judgment. I take a deep breath, the weight of her admission settling over me. It hurt, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. I lost everything because of a lie. We talk for hours, have reached out, eager to feature my story in their publications. I can hardly believe the whirlwind of attention that has followed my speech. It feels surreal, like I'm living someone else's life, but the reality is that this is my life, one I've fought tooth and nail to create. As I stand in line, I can't help but reflect on how far I've come. Just a few years ago, I was a teenager standing alone at a bus stop, clutching a suitcase and grappling with the weight of betrayal. Now, I'm being recognized for my work, my voice, and my journey. The barista hands me my coffee, and I take a moment to breathe it all in, savoring the rich aroma that fills the air. I head to my favorite spot in the park, a quiet bench under a sprawling oak tree. The sun filters through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. I pull out my laptop, ready to dive into the emails that have been piling up. Each message is a reminder of the opportunities that have opened up since my speech. I respond to inquiries, schedule meetings, and even start drafting ideas for a potential book. The thought of sharing my story in a more extensive format excites me, and I can already envision the chapters unfolding. As I type, I can't shake the feeling of disbelief. I've gone from being the outcast in my family to a sought-after voice in the industry. But with this newfound recognition comes a sense of responsibility. I want to use my platform to advocate for those who feel voiceless, to share the stories of others who have faced similar struggles. I want to remind them that they are not alone and that their experiences can lead to something beautiful. Later that evening, I receive a call from a producer interested in developing a documentary about my journey. The idea of being in front of the camera again sends a rush of adrenaline through me. I've spent so long hiding behind my words, and now I'm being asked to step into the spotlight once more. I agree to a meeting, eager to explore how I can share my story in a way that resonates with others. As the weeks pass, I find myself juggling interviews, meetings, and writing projects. My life has become a whirlwind of activity, but I thrive on the chaos. Each day brings new challenges, and I embrace them with open arms. I've learned that growth often comes from discomfort, and I'm no stranger to pushing my boundaries. One afternoon, I sit down with Tom at our favorite cafe. He's been my rock throughout this journey, always encouraging me to take risks and pursue my dreams. As we sip our coffees, I share my thoughts about the documentary. I want to make sure it's authentic, I say, my brow furrowed in concentration. I don't want it to feel like just another success story. I want people to see the real struggles behind it. Tom nods, his expression serious. That's what makes your story powerful, Adam. It's not just about where you are now, it's about how you got there. Don't shy away from the hard parts. They're what make you relatable. His words resonate with me, and I realize that he's right. I've spent so long trying to distance myself from my past, but it's an integral part of who I am. I need to embrace it, to show others that it's okay to struggle and to rise from those struggles. As the documentary project takes shape, I find myself reflecting on my family again. I haven't spoken to them since that fateful day, and while I've moved on, a part of me wonders if there's a way to reconcile. I know it won't be easy, but I also know that healing is a journey worth pursuing. One evening, I sit down to write a letter to my parents. It's a daunting task, but I pour my heart into it, expressing my feelings of hurt and betrayal while also acknowledging the possibility of forgiveness. I don't know if they'll respond, but I feel a sense of relief in putting my thoughts into words. As I seal the envelope, I remind myself that this is just one step in my journey. Whether or not they choose to reach out, I've already taken control of my narrative. I've built a life that I'm proud of, and I won't let the past define me. The next few months are a blur of activity as the documentary crew follows me around, capturing my daily life and the work I do. I share my story with them, recounting the moments of pain and triumph that have shaped me. It's cathartic, and I find myself growing more comfortable in front of the camera. When the documentary premieres, I sit in the audience, my heart racing as I watch my life unfold on the screen. The raw honesty of my journey is laid bare, and I can feel the weight of my past lifting as I share. Not just physical but emotional, a chasm that can never be bridged. I pull into my parking spot, the familiar weight of my keys in my hand, and take a moment to breathe deeply. The air is warm, filled with the scent of blooming flowers, and for the first time in a long while, I feel a sense of clarity wash over me. Inside my apartment, I set my things down and pour myself a glass of water. The sunlight filters through the window, casting a golden hue across my desk, where my laptop sits open, waiting for my attention. I think about the conversation I just had with my parents, the way they still refuse to acknowledge the truth, and how they've chosen to protect Jamie at all costs. It's infuriating, but I also feel a sense of liberation. I've spent so long trying to earn their approval, trying to fit into a mold that they created, and now I realize that I don't need their validation to succeed. I sit down at my desk and open my laptop, the screen illuminating my face in the dim light of the room. I pull up the document I've been working on for my memoir, the one that chronicles my journey from being kicked out to finding my voice. I start typing, pouring my heart into the words, recounting the moments of pain and triumph that have shaped me. The words flow easily, as if they've been waiting for this moment to be released. As I write, I reflect on the importance of authenticity. I've spent so long hiding behind my words, but now I'm ready to step into the light. I want to share my story not just for myself, but for others who have faced similar struggles. I want them to know that they are not alone, that it's possible to rise from the ashes of betrayal and build a life that is truly your own. The next few weeks are a whirlwind of activity. I continue to work on my memoir, pouring every ounce of my experience into the pages. I also receive more offers for speaking engagements, each one a reminder of how far I've come. I embrace these opportunities, using my platform to advocate for those who feel voiceless. I share my story with anyone who will listen, hoping to inspire others to find their own voices. One evening, as I sit in my favorite cafe, I receive a message from Tom. He wants to celebrate my latest speaking engagement, and I can't help but smile at the thought. Tom has been my biggest supporter, always encouraging me to take risks and pursue my dreams. We meet at a local bar, and as we sit down with our drinks, I can't help but feel grateful for his presence in my life. "You're on fire, Adam," he says, raising his glass in a toast. "I'm so proud of you." "Thanks, Tom." "I couldn't have done it without you," I reply, feeling a warmth spread through me. "You've always believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." We talk about my recent successes, the documentary, and the memoir. I share my hopes for the future, the desire to reach even more people with my story. Tom listens intently, nodding along as I speak. "You have a gift, Adam. Your words have the power to change lives." As the night goes on, I feel a sense of belonging that I've longed for. I've built a new family, one that supports and uplifts me. I realize that while my biological family may have chosen to turn their backs on me, I've created a life filled with people who genuinely care about my well-being. The following week, I receive an email from the publishing house that expressed interest in my memoir. They want to set up a meeting to discuss the next steps, and I can hardly contain my excitement. This is the culmination of years of hard work, and I'm ready to take this leap. When the day of the meeting arrives, I dress in my best outfit, feeling a mix of nerves and anticipation. I arrive at the publishing house, the sleek building a testament to the success of the authors they represent. As I walk through the doors, I remind myself that I belong here. I've earned this opportunity. The meeting goes exceptionally well. The editors are enthusiastic about my story, and they see the potential for it to resonate with a wide audience. We discuss the themes of resilience, authenticity, and the power of finding one's voice. I leave the meeting feeling invigorated, knowing that my story is finally going to be shared with the world. As I drive home, I can't help but reflect on how far I've come. I've transformed my pain into purpose, and I'm ready to embrace whatever comes next. I think about my parents and Jamie, and while I know that they may never understand or accept me, I also know that I don't need their approval to thrive. I've built a life that I'm proud of, and I'm through, her voice shaky as she pleads, "Adam, please, you don't understand what you're doing. This isn't just about you. It's about the family." I can almost picture her, sitting in their living room, the same look of entitlement and denial etched on her face. But I refuse to let her guilt trip me this time. I've spent too long being manipulated by their narratives. I take a deep breath, feeling a mix of anger and empowerment. I've finally taken a stand, and I won't let their attempts to control the narrative derail me. I glance at the messages flooding in, each one a reminder of the support I've longed for but never received. I open Aunt Sarah's message again, her words echoing in my mind. "I always suspected something wasn't right." It's a small comfort, but it's enough to remind me that I'm not alone in this fight. As I sift through the responses, I notice a pattern. Many family members express regret for not reaching out sooner, for believing Jamie's lies without question. It's a bittersweet realization. While I'm grateful for their support now, it stings to know that they chose to believe her over me for so long. I can't help but wonder how different things might have been if they had taken the time to listen to my side of the story. I decide to respond to each message, thanking them for their support and sharing my truth. I want them to understand that this isn't just about me, it's about breaking the cycle of silence and manipulation that has plagued our family for years. I want them to see the damage that has been done and the importance of standing up for what is right. As I type, I feel a sense of purpose wash over me. This is my moment to reclaim my narrative, to ensure that my voice is heard loud and clear. I'm not just fighting for myself, I'm fighting for anyone who has ever felt silenced or dismissed. I want to be a beacon of hope for those who have faced similar struggles, to show them that it's possible to rise above the pain and create a life filled with authenticity and truth. The next day, I receive a call from Mark, my lawyer. I've been following the developments, he says, his tone serious. It seems like your family is scrambling to regain control of the narrative. They're worried about the fallout from your email. I nod, even though he can't see me. I expected that. They've always been more concerned about appearances than the truth. Just be cautious, he advises. You're in a powerful position, but it's important to navigate this carefully. You don't want to give them any ammunition to use against you. I appreciate his concern, but I feel a newfound strength coursing through me. I've spent too long being afraid of their reactions, and I refuse to let their fear dictate my actions any longer. I understand, Mark. But I'm ready to face whatever comes next. I've already lost everything they could take from me. Now, I'm just focused on the truth. As the days pass, the fallout from my email continues to unfold. Family members reach out, some expressing their support while others remain silent, caught in the crossfire of loyalty and guilt. I can't help but feel a sense of satisfaction as I watch the dynamics shift. The truth is a powerful force, and I'm finally wielding it. One evening, I receive a message from Uncle Mark, the one who had previously expressed regret for not connecting the dots. I want to meet, he writes. I need to understand what really happened. I feel a mix of apprehension and hope as I reply, agreeing to meet at the same cafe where I confronted my parents. It feels fitting, a place where I've taken control of my narrative. When I arrive, I find Uncle Mark already seated at a table, his expression serious. Thank you for meeting with me, he says, his voice low. I've been thinking a lot about everything that's happened. I nod, feeling the weight of the conversation ahead. I appreciate you reaching out. It's important for me to share my side of the story. As we talk, I recount the events of that fateful day 12 years ago, the lies that were spun, and the impact it had on my life. Uncle Mark listens intently, his brow furrowing as I share the details. I had no idea it was this bad, he admits, shaking his head. I wish I had been there for you. It's not too late, I reply, my voice steady. I want to rebuild these connections, but it has to be based on truth. I can't go back to pretending everything is fine when it's not. He nods, understanding the gravity of what I'm saying. I want to help. I'll talk to the family, and I'll make of my life one that is entirely my own. The sun sets over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the retreat, and I feel a sense of peace wash over me. I've come so far, and while the journey has been fraught with challenges, I've emerged stronger and more resilient than ever. As I sit at my laptop, I reflect on the path that has led me here. The pain of my past no longer holds me captive, instead, it fuels my desire to help others who have faced similar struggles. I think about the young writers I'm mentoring through the WR Your Way Out program, the ones who remind me of my younger self. I want to give them the tools to find their voices, to rise above their circumstances, and to create their own narratives. I open a new document and begin to type, my fingers flying across the keyboard as I outline the next steps for the program. I envision workshops, writing retreats, and opportunities for these young writers to showcase their work. I want to create a community where they feel safe, supported, and empowered to share their stories. Each word I write is a promise to them, a promise that they are not alone and that their experiences matter. As I draft the program details, I can't help but feel a sense of excitement. This is more than just a mentorship program, it's a movement. I want to challenge the stigma surrounding those who have been displaced or abandoned, to show the world that their stories are powerful and deserving of recognition. I want to create a space where they can thrive, where they can transform their pain into art. The next few weeks are a whirlwind of activity as I finalize the details for WR Your Way Out. I reach out to potential partners, seeking sponsorships and collaborations to help fund the program. I'm met with enthusiasm and support from various organizations, each one eager to contribute to a cause that resonates deeply with them. It's a reminder that there are people out there who care, who want to make a difference. One afternoon, as I'm finalizing the program's website, I receive a call from a local news station. They want to feature my story and the launch of WR Your Way Out in an upcoming segment. I can hardly believe it. This is an opportunity to reach even more young writers, to spread the message that they can overcome their circumstances and find their voices. When the day of the interview arrives, I feel a mix of nerves and excitement. I've spent so long hiding from the spotlight, but now I'm ready to embrace it. I want to share my story, not just for myself, but for all the young people who feel voiceless. I want them to see that it's possible to rise above adversity and create a life filled with purpose. As I sit in the studio, waiting for my segment to begin, I take a deep breath and remind myself of why I'm here. This isn't just about me, it's about the countless others who have faced similar struggles. I want to be a beacon of hope for them, to show them that they can break free from the chains of their past. When the camera starts rolling, I speak from the heart. I share my journey, the pain of betrayal, and the strength I found in writing. I talk about WR Your Way Out and the impact I hope it will have on young writers. I can see the interest in the host's eyes, and I know that my message is resonating. After the interview, I receive an outpouring of support from viewers. Messages flood in from young writers who are inspired by my story, who want to be a part of the program. It's overwhelming, but in the best way possible. I feel a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that I'm making a difference in the lives of others. As the program launches, I watch in awe as young writers begin to find their voices. They share their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs, and I'm honored to be a part of their journeys. Each workshop, each writing session, is a reminder of the power of storytelling and the importance of community. Months pass, and I find myself reflecting on how far I've come. I've built a life that I'm proud of, one that is filled with purpose and passion. I've surrounded myself with people who uplift and support me, and I've created a community that empowers others to do the same. One evening, as I sit in my apartment, I receive a message from Mike, one of the first students in the WR Your Way Out program. I got accepted to college with a full scholarship. Thank you for believing in me, he writes. Tears of joy fill my eyes as I read his words. This is what it's all about, helping others find their paths and achieve their dreams. I realize that my journey is far from over. There are still stories to tell, lives to impact, and voices to uplift. I open my laptop and begin to write again, this time focusing.